Hey, how's it going? I I wanted to do this early today or yesterday now cuz it's Tuesday now. And I didn't record as much as I wanted to because I don't think I have felt as squirrely as I did yesterday ever. So here, take a look at my signs, please. Did you get it? You got it? Okay. Alright, so I was have thinking about this for a while. I haven't told you what this is. What this is I have been watching my channeled messages and my teachings from the ETs on the Galactic Federation channel on YouTube, the GFL station, or their sister station, Chosen Chronicles, or channel rather, not station. And one of the things that they have said is going to be happening to us as time goes on, since our bodies are changing from carbon to crystalline. That's not immediate. It, I guess, takes a while. And in the midst of that, it makes us feel like we're ill sometimes, when you can go to a doctor and they will not be able to find something wrong with you because they're looking for the wrong kinds of things, and there's nothing wrong with you. It's just new and different. And that's like one of the types of symptoms we could be feeling. Another is an inability to handle inauthenticity, which I already had anyway. Like, I am so sick of people lying to me, it's not even funny. And that goes from like the home to the streets to the working world. Like, wherever you go, there's always somebody that can't wait to start lying to you, and I hate that. Figures of authority and not. I mean, I think it's easier to just keep with the truth as much as you can, so then you don't have to remember what kind of BS you made up. Anyway, it was just very difficult. Like, and when I'm feeling that way, like on the verge of like basically angrily tearing people's heads off, 1 second, and then being like a loving little lamb the next. It feels crazy. I barely trusted myself to go on Blue Sky, which is one of my favorite things to do. I often spend much of the day messing around on there or going back to it several times a day. I couldn't do it. Like, I just didn't trust myself to just not go on there and act a fool, pretty much. So I did whatever I could do to get my mind elsewhere, and I mean, that's what I had to do all day. And it's not like it wasn't happening because I wasn't really online. It was still happening, and it just, I don't know how to explain it really, but I know, like, the other day I was online and I said I kept feeling like I woke up in a great mood, and then things kept happening as if, like, here, let's see if I can piss you off. Here, let's see if I can make you frustrated. That'll lead to pissing you off. Like, all of these little things kept happening, and I'm not, like, a huge believer in curses. I suppose psychic attacks are a thing, though, because there are so many sources that they could come from, and I don't think we really understand what a curse might be, but I don't want to get into that. All I know is I just kept feeling like, well, why? I feel great. Why is something trying to drag me away from that? And when I thought that, I realized, oh, maybe that is exactly what's happening. So, to have details about what I'm talking about, like the psychic attacks, I mean, I would suggest you just watch the videos, but I know people are not inclined to do that. So there are other ways you can notice it, though, just out in the world regular, and it's happening all around you, and it does all around us in the United States and other places. Like, I don't know if people are aware in the United States, because I don't really see people talking about it, but Iran's leadership just said the people are so against us that they have all come to, like, the residences and places of governmental business and said, get out or die. And so the government said, okay, we'll leave. It's also happening in Russia, is rebelling the citizens who you really don't hear that much about. Everything is war stuff. But I have been painfully aware that all of that country's money is being spent on this war with Ukraine that Putin started, or the leadership, whatever. I showed you the signs, so you know this is opinion commentary, and I suppose entertainment. If you're entertained by someone struggling to understand all of the reasons why these things that are happening right now are happening, and we don't have access to all of the reasons, but I try to, like, spread out where I put my attention so I get all kinds of different views. And I like to go, sorry, but our news I just don't trust. Not that I can totally trust news from other places, but I feel like if there's a war going on in the country, I want people in and around that area to give me the news, not our reporters from here, because, again, so much lying, which I hate. So much misdirection. So much misinformation. So, anyway, if you are inclined to know those things, whatever I say, there are breadcrumbs there to go search if you want to know more. So I kept waiting for evening time so that, like, people would be sleeping and there would be less, like, frantic energy in the air, because I personally in my life I have been really struggling with maintaining my boundaries. Like, I put them up and people are constantly trying to ignore them and just, like, shove me out. Like, I was coming home from the store yesterday, and this neighbor, has actually been the source of a lot of my anxiety lately, because that fucker will not leave me alone. Anyway, I'm coming home from the store. It's freezing ass cold. And I have to pee. I just want to get in my house. And also, I have my hot food in my hand that's getting cold. So he and another dude that looked an awful lot like him, so I'm assuming it was a brother or a cousin or something, were like, hey, can you stop a minute? And I'm like, no, not really. And I keep going. And so I'm at my door fumbling to get my key in, and they follow me. And I'm like, why the hell can no one take no for an answer? So the new guy, the brother, I think, wanted to give me something, which was a wooden ring that he made. It's made of hardwood. I'll have to look it up. He told me... That's not it. Hold on a second. Let me find it. Here it is. Oh, that's a great angle. Let me just tilt that. That didn't help. Okay, so here's the ring. And it's very nice. He told me the name is something that sounded like cobalt, so I'll have to look it up. And they were just insisting that I stop and take this, and I was like, why can no one just accept it when I say no? So that was not even yesterday. That was the day before. So this is ongoing. And all I can do is my best to enforce my barriers. But then in the following couple of days, someone left like an empty margarine thing with, like, leftovers in it on my porch. I assume for the cats, because I put out the stale dry food that my cat refuses to eat. I'm not making a practice of like feeding every animal. That's not what I'm doing. I'm putting out a little food that my cat won't eat for whoever comes along. And so I just felt like, why are you trying to feed the strays on my porch? Go put that crap on your porch, because then I get stuck with the empty container. And then I found like noodles and green beans on the ground, and I'm sure a dog came and ate it. Like, he lets his dogs loose off the leash to go pee, and it's like they just come to my deck and they eat the food, so I have to be all strategic about when I put the food out, because there are actual strays that don't have owners that feed them out there that I want to help. So I get irritated when people are on, like, why are you on my property? Or if you want to feed the strays, do it on your area. So I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate that everybody thinks my back area is a public place. I used to have chairs and things out there on my little deck, but I had to bring everything in because people were plucking my plants, like, before I could harvest the leaves off of the mint plant and things like that. And it's like, damn, you have a place. Or explain to your children to stay. Like, if I were wandering around and just going onto people's areas, how well do you think that would go over me being the black lady? Not well at all. Because I've already run into some pretty hardcore. I don't know why they give me dirty looks and scowl at me when I say hello, but I mean, I can only guess a few reasons, and it has to be something that they see when they look at me, since they do not know me and they have never spoken to me. And it's like, well, at least they leave me alone. At least they leave me the hell alone. But it's like, the first person that I was talking about, not the brother that gave me the ring, but the guy that actually lives here, that's my neighbor, I asked him if he put it out there, and he always denies it. Like, somebody put a raw fucking fish on my deck, so that, and this was in the summer, so that when I opened up my door, I got hit in the face with a wall of rotting fish smell. And I'm like, did you put this on my deck? And he'd just been trying to give me some salmon the day before. Did you put this on my deck? No. It had to be him. He's the only one here that would do something nice for me. Like, I know and that's also how I know it's him, is he thinks he's doing something nice. But no, people do not understand. You have to be invited to come onto my area. And you could ask if I want you to put food on my deck. So I was hot. I was mad when I woke up and saw that out there. And then I saw the noodle and the green bean. I was like, moron, cats are not dogs. They don't just eat everything. And then the empty container is just on my deck. I'm like, what the hell? I sweep it. I keep it clean. I make a mess with peanut shells and that I put out for the squirrels. But I also sweep it off my deck and into the grass so the lawnmowers can chop it up, like whatever's left. It's like no one has respect. And then I have to demonstrate respect, I guess. But no one notices what I'm doing. Like, they don't. It's very frustrating. So it was kind of like, in my life, outside of my life, online, like, people and things are just screwing with me. And it has been very difficult. Like, I have been trying to train myself out of just getting flash angry, but man, people are just doing whatever they can do, I guess. And they're trying to be nice, this guy, and so then I have to temper my reaction. But it's like, if I said something, I don't want to repeat myself a bunch of times. And this is not a fucking, child, okay? This is an adult person, but he has ADHD. I don't give a shit about that. I don't have sympathy for you if it's interfering with me. And I have explained to you, I don't want you doing that. So he lied to me before that he put that out there. And then I put up a bunch of signs cursing out whoever, because it might not be him, but I doubt it. He's the only one here that halfway likes me. He's the only one that would do something nice for me like that. So I just, the other things are happening. And this guy and that is not my point. The point is how do you deal with it when it's psychic attacks or somebody thinking they're being nice and doing something for you? People don't wait for an invitation or ask if you would like something or anything. They asked me, could I stop? And I said no. That no should have been enough, but no, they had to. So, and the reason why I'm bringing all of this up is not to just complain, but to say that one of the things that the teachings have been saying for months is that times are going to try you. And so the way you respond is going to affect your life going forward, and then however it ripples outward from there. So the other things that happened was that I get paid once a month, right? And it's not like the money is so much that I just have hundreds of dollars left over after I pay my bills. No, I get almost enough to pay my bills. Something always has to be juggled and left unpaid until next time, or I have to just get rid of the service because I don't have enough to pay for it. So once a month, right? And then I get this notice in my mail reminding me that my ID needs to be renewed, which I knew. The licensing place I need a ride to. I don't think there's a bus stop on that street. And they have certain hours and walk-ins are limited. So this thing is telling me all of this reminder I got in the mail. So I tried to set up an appointment to renew. Couldn't do it. Tried to fill out my application online, but I don't have a printer. But I went over to the office to see, of my apartment complex. I went over to the office to see if the manager there would help me, because she has a printer. So I go in there and we're doing it, and we get all ready to go, and it's all, you're not eligible to renew online. And I'm like, what? Why? Because I didn't start doing it soon enough. If I would have received it at the first of the month when I had money, I could have taken care of it. Instead, I got it at the third week of the month where the money's been gone for 2 weeks. So frustrating. So then I'm like, okay, now I have to figure out how to go to the licensing place and wait in line, and it better not take longer than the 2 hours I have someone to take me to go do stuff like that. So she says, oh, you can go anytime. My husband went, and he just walked over, and there was a push for people to get real IDs, which I'm not going to get for a number of reasons. But she said, you can just go over there. And she said, well, can't you? And then I was like, then I saw how much they wanted for the ID, and it was $61 for 5 years. And I don't think that's a bargain. I mean, I guess to the state it is. I paid a whole lot less for the original ID for 3 years. So I really feel like I'm getting pinched there, and it doesn't fit into my already weak budget. I was mad. I was like, how long can I go without having a freaking ID? But I need them in so many places. It's just so irritating. So she says, oh, well, you can get call your social worker, you can get a voucher. She didn't call it that, but I guess you can get a voucher. So I was on the phone on hold for an hour, pressing buttons, going all over the place on this phone tree line thing. And I just kept getting sent to this place where I had to hear all of the same recording. I was on there for an hour, and mostly what I heard was repeat recordings and just getting switched around. So I finally get a person on there, And she says, oh, you got to call this number. You're on the wrong number. I'm like, that is the number I called. And so she transfers me, and I go through another of the same phone menu. And then it says, okay, press this number when it comes to your county. And then I press the number. It's not my county. It's a completely other. It is it's like an hour to the north. And at that point, I was like, ah! I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take it. I just hung up, and I was like, I called the place where my caregiver, the person that comes and helps me and drives me around, I called him and I said, look, I got to do all of these things, and I don't have enough time. I know that I have a spare 5 hours for going over, and I said, I need to use those because I got to go to this place and pick up the thing. I got to go to the place where they kept me on hold and sent me in circles and did absolutely nothing. So I have to go there and see if I can acquire this voucher, and if it's not easy, I guess I'll just take the hit and pay a bunch more money than I actually have, and it's gonna screw up other things that I have to pay for, but that's okay. Gotta have that ID. See, I'm just getting all aggravated again, and that is what I did not want to come on here like. So that is why I couldn't come on here sooner, and so I finally had to just like go to sleep. The only way I know how to shut it all off sometimes is to become unconscious. And then I woke up, thankfully, like in the middle of the night at 1 o'clock, so it's not that now. It's been a couple of hours, but I just wanted to make sure that I could be kind of calm doing this. So the point of relating all of that is to say that what the Galactic Federation has been saying, it is going to be rough for the next, like, I don't even know how long going forward. I know astrologically, particularly the first couple of months of 2026 are going to be, we're going to struggle with, like I think I have been struggling today. But my mission is to not absorb all of this stuff, but sort of like divert it and run it through myself, or just take whatever comes and deal with it as calmly and judiciously as I can, so that I don't go all nutty, you know? I mean, not to mention how situations can go if you don't meet them levelly. Like, if you're already just like all the way on one end aggro or anything extreme, like that is not going to help the cause of yourself for your life or the bigger picture, because in ways that we don't always count, we really do affect each other's lives pretty strongly. And so you just want to be temperate with what you're putting out there for the world, you know? And you may not even think of it as putting something out there for the world, but that's kind of the way things happen. Like, we affect each other like a virus. We really do. You know, it just, things spread from person to person. Emotions, ideas. Like, I wrote on Blue Sky a couple of days ago that I was sick and tired of people coming on various websites and then accusing everybody else of not doing anything because they're posting online. And I'm like, dickhead, that's what you're doing right now. What else are you doing? Please inspire me so I can go out and fight crime as well as you do. And I never get an answer back usually, but this person sent back a like. And it's not that I'm trying to shut them down and make them go away, but stop yelling at everybody and assuming nobody's doing anything. Based on posts alone. You don't know. You can't. You don't know. Like, even somebody can put up all kinds of pictures of marches and rallies and whatever, but those could be photoshopped. Like, you don't even know who you're dealing with. Like, not to say that people that do go to the rallies are like lying or anything, but I'm just saying, if they're not showing that doesn't mean that they're not taking part. It doesn't mean that they're not aware of the problem, which also seems to come out in these things, because these people have it in their minds that people aren't doing anything. And then they got this whole set that they dress up that they're thinking they don't do anything and they're not even trying. And it's like, you don't know that. This person didn't go look at my feed to see what I'm doing. And I know they didn't go look at, like, all of the thousands of other feeds on there. They're just, I don't know, firing shots. And that has been pissing me off lately. Like, if you're just talking shit and you don't know what you're talking about, I need you to be quiet. And also, go away. People are dealing with this in their chosen fashion, and it's not for anyone else to come down on them for the way they're doing. Like, we need more problems? You're going to make yourself part of the problem by doing that, in my opinion? Please spare me. So, I don't know that everyone else feels everything the way that I'm feeling everything. Like, I gather that a lot of people are sort of just not feeling stuff, and it's completely fine, and that is that is weird to me. Like, how are you not affected by everything? But there are people that are not affected, and also not my deal. Like, I'm not here to fix those people or to tell them how to be or none of that. Everybody has to do their own thing. So, hi. Now that I said all of that, so I don't know if everyone feels things the same way, but for those of us that are feeling things and you feel like you're on a roller coaster and it's like, Jane, stop this crazy thing. I guess it's going to be that way. Plus. Yikes. And that's why I'm sharing it, is because maybe it's happening to you and you don't realize it's happening to other people too, or something. I don't know. I think it's a good idea to share what's going on emotionally while all of this is happening, since it is all very emotional. Alright, so I did pull some cards. Oh, I guess I want the booklet. Excuse my armpit. Ugh, I don't like this box. You pick it up. You try to pick it up and that happens. And it's fine when you have it right next to you, but when you're trying to grab it off of the stack over there, it's kind of inconvenient. Anyway, not that big of a deal. Okay, so let's see, what do we have here? The first card I got was Star Family. I like how there's like this, I'm going to call it a planetary mass right here, and there's all of these sparks of light coming from it. And it's like source, and all of us are these lights that are coming off, and we're headed off to our destinations to help with like ascensions. Because guess what? Our planet is not the only one having an ascension event, I'm sure. Well, I mean, why would this planet be the only one where that's happening? There's so many planets and so many races that we haven't even learned about yet. Wow. Okay, my vision just went all kooky. Let's see if I can find Star Family and see what that's about. Like, what the card says, as opposed to my interpretation. Come on. Star Family. star family. That is not it. What the hell? There it is. Okay. You're part of a team of souls. Call in support. Everybody, rushing off to the mission. At some stage, we were part of a soul cluster. A gathering of souls who broke away from one other to experience themselves individually. Okay, I guess that's some kind of a typo. Let's see. One another, I think, makes sense. So, those who are part of your soul cluster are part of your star family. Your star family are those souls who are cut from a similar cosmic cloth. You haven't just experienced lifetimes together. Your souls were actually one. Your souls were once actually one. It's very common for star family members to incarnate at similar times, to work with anchoring a similar frequency of light, and to cross paths with each other. To meet again? You know this. Oh, sorry. You know that someone is part of your star family when you feel like you know and remember them from the moment you meet. I've wondered this about the neighbor because of the way we met. He saw me across the parking lot here and came running over. Hi, and had to give me a hug. And I wasn't sure what that was about. Like, I thought it could be partly what it is, which is he's a horn dog. But also, when I have needed help in the past, not like actual help that I could count on him to do anything for, because I can't. He's terrible at that. But he will show up and bring a certain kind of light into my life at times when I really need it. So I appreciate him for that. And I think he might be part of the cluster for me. Which is why, even though he pisses me off routinely, I just try to take it in stride, because he's different. And, okay, so where are we? You know that someone is part of your star family when you feel like you know and remember them from the moment you meet. I didn't have that so much, but I think he did. They feel instantly familiar the moment you meet. They feel instantly familiar and comfortable. Time both passes quickly and stretches when you're with them. You feel more yourself with them than with anyone else. Now that sounds more like my friend that used to be my caregiver, who was my friend for years first, but we just had one of those moments where we kind of broke up for like 6 or 7 years, and then recently found our way back toward each other, and just as comfortable and normal as it ever was. Like, we barely had to talk about the breakup, and we've just been as fast friends as we ever were once again, so that's a good feeling. We need each other right now. It can sometimes feel like looking at the mirror. Let me try that again. It can sometimes feel like looking in the mirror, because in a way you are. Often you'll go out of your way to help those in your star family instinctively, knowing it's part of your path. That's what I think is going on with the gentleman next door. He's always helping, wants to help. But man, you can't just ignore people's boundaries, damn it. And he does that? Oh, it's bad. So anyway, When a star family member dies, you feel it very deeply regardless of how long you knew them. A certain soul mourning or soul breaking occurs. Think about the people in your life. Who do you feel is part of your star family? If this card comes up in a spread, it's likely that you've met someone who is part of your star family, and you're about to meet someone from your star family. Starseed Soul Inquiry. Who do you think is from the same star family as you? How can you call upon them for support? Well, I already mentioned two people that I feel pretty strongly are probably part of my star family. Doesn't say anything about them annoying the shit out of you, though. Maybe that's just Earth family stuff. So, next card is Inner Earth. And when I pulled this time, I definitely felt like it was an inner retreat. I'm just going to go to the booklet here. Inner retreat from the slings and arrows, so to speak, which is kind of what I did today. Was just retreat from everything, because it just felt like I wasn't safe for online. Like, don't say stuff to people, because you could come to regret it, because they're not going to understand you right now. And that's something I've learned happens occasionally, is I'll reach some stage in my development where I'll try to talk to people, and it's like I suddenly gained the ability to speak Chinese or something, because I'll say a whole thing and think I'm laying out something very clearly, and they'll be all, what? I don't understand what you're talking about. So, this is also on the card. You'll survive this. New solutions and beginnings. Okay. Hold on. Okay. I don't know if you have a pet, but my cat has a way of appearing and sitting there and staring at me in a certain way that's like, what? So I had to deal with him, and I'm back to the book. So on the card it says, you'll survive this. New solutions and beginnings. Well, I think that today I employed a solution that I think I probably always knew about, but wasn't achieving so well, and that was tolerance and temperance with other people. So let's see here. The book says, Inner Earth, also known as Agartha, is believed to be a hidden subterranean world within the planet itself. Many ancient cultures mention it in their stories. It's said that some of the beings of ancient lost lands, such as Lemuria, Atlantis, and Aryavarta, went there. Hindu and Celtic lore mention caves and entrances to underground worlds. Tibetan Buddhism refers to the secret mystical city of Shambhala, which is thought to be located in the Himalayas. Many have searched for inner earth in the physical world, but without success. So the mystery continues. Is it a place that exists in the physical or another level of consciousness? There are solutions beyond what you can perceive. Okay, so I'm just going to interrupt myself to say that the Nicaragua situation, Venezuela situation that's happening, I was waiting for the ET's take on it, and God, it's so long. I haven't finished watching it, and sometimes they're so long that I don't share them, because it'll take me like a couple of days or a whole day to watch one of the long ones, because I can watch a little while and then I have to shut it off and like do something else for a while. So it's just that it's a lot of information, and a lot of embedded information, like activations and downloads and things. And so you watch it for a little while and you just start to feel full up, and when I say you, I mean me, but I like have to take a break because it just is like a lot. And oh, so I watched the first part of it, which was only like 40 minutes, and it was already, I'm sorry to say, it was pissing me off. And just before that, I had watched like a short of, I think, Ari Melber from MS Now, M Snow, talking about it, the Venezuela situation. And what he was saying was pissing me off. Like, I'll link the Galactic Federation video, but it's a long one. I'll just say that right off the bat. Alright. Where was I? There are solutions beyond what you can perceive. Oh. We go back to that video. So, what they talk about are situations that you can't perceive because they're not being talked about in the media. In fact, a lot of things are being talked about, but there are a lot of things happening that are sort of at a level of notice that some people can take in, and then some people cannot. Like, they're just not ready for it, which is not a fault. It's just a state of being. So, okay, back to this. Surprising outcomes to your problems and situations. Resolutions that are in the best interest of all involved. If you'll find yourself facing an obstacle or feeling stuck and have no idea what to do, you're being reassured that there is a way out. You'll survive this and things will work out. So, okay, so that goes along with what I was saying earlier about like having to deal with the situations that are making us feel certain ways. I never felt like things were not going to work out or that it wasn't going to be okay, but in the moment, I personally can get so worked up that it's like I have to stop and step away. And I don't mean worked up by like getting myself all excited. It's just like watching the people and listening to what they're saying. It just makes me mad. It's like, why do we have to go through all this dumb stuff? But to me, it's dumb. For other people, it's experience they need to have. And part of being part of the whole is kind of nothing is ever complete until everyone plays their role, which is going to require patience and finding constructive things to do with your thoughts and your activity instead of getting mad at stuff like the cat shape behind the blinds that has to assert himself. Why are you doing this now? Can you please stop? See, he's making himself a distraction and annoying me, but I'm just gonna ignore it as best I can and move on. If you're stuck in a rut, do something to shake up the energy and shift your thinking. It all got to be too much. I was getting aggravated and angered by stuff I was seeing. I had to switch it up and go do something else. So, let's see. Soon you'll see that whole new worlds of solutions are available. Things that were previously beyond your focus will present themselves. Helpful people, signs from the universe, and support in both expected and unexpected ways are on their way to you. But first, you need to do something different to shift your focus so you can receive them. Damn straight, I needed to stop and I needed to back away from whatever it was that was making me feel inflamed so that it takes you out of being receptive so that you want to be able to receive help, help from people, signs from the universe, and support in both expected and unexpected ways. You have to be in a state of reception, though. Like, if you're aggro and irritated, like I was, I didn't want anybody or anything near me, so nothing good was going to get in. And I am aware of that. So it's a constant course correction with your personal tempo or tenor or both. Okay, I'm just going to read the last two sentences. Things that were previously beyond your focus will present themselves. Helpful people, signs from the universe, and support in both expected and unexpected ways are on their way to you. But first you need to do something different to shift your focus so you can receive them. Starseed Soul Inquiry. What can you do to shift your energy or outlook? So, one thing you can do is go to your inner earth or your inner world that is... Hold on. I have to do something with this cat. I swear to God, the very thing I'm talking about right in the middle of me doing this. Okay, so to go remove yourself from the things that are making you feel not receptive and sort of unhappy, you really have to, well, your breathing helps a lot. Like, your practiced breathing, let's say, your focused breathing. I'm not going to give you breathing lessons. Although, well, I will say one thing. There's a lot of different ways to breathe to achieve different things. One sort of universal way to breathe that I find helps, regardless of what my purpose is deep inhalation, hold it for a second, slowly let it out through your mouth. So inhalation through your nose, all the way to your stomach, like as deep as you can hold a breath. Hold for a second, slowly let it out through your mouth. Don't have to blow it, it's going to escape anyway. You just let it release on its own. And you do that a few times, and that's a way to calm yourself. And so the inner earth is, I feel like, taking refuge inside yourself, like stepping away from the real or normal world and going to a place where no one can invade or bother you. But that may also involve kicking the cat outside, unplugging the phone, ignoring the knocking on the door. And if you can get past all of that stuff, you're on your way. Just the more of a meditative state that I can achieve, the more I feel like I'm someplace else in a way. And that, I think, is what we're looking for. Okay, so the next card is the Blue Flame. So the blue flame, in the form of a figure, sort of standing between two portals in a way. There's a doorway right here we can see, and then back here, what's this? It looks like another doorway. So is this an invitation? Okay, I'm going to consult the book, so I'm going to hold off on what the card says because it actually says it in the book. Hold on. Ooh. The blue flame, there it is. Okay, so it says on the card, spontaneous awakening, activation, integration time. Spontaneous awakening. That brings to mind a particular thing that sometimes people's third eye can open without warning, and it can be a shocking experience, and a lot of people are not ready and are not expecting it, and they think they're going crazy. And so my friend's daughter is a runner, and she has been for several years. I'm getting all congested. Like when she was in school, but she's an adult now. And so she still does it, but when she was first doing it as a youngster, my friend, her mom, was concerned that she might like hit the zone and that would open her third eye. And I don't think that ever happened because she's not there or interested really in any of this stuff. Like, seriously, she knows what her mom has shared with her, but she doesn't really seem to be that interested. It's not like hitting home with her. But that would be like the closest thing to my own personal experience with anyone spontaneously awakening. Activations, I think those happen all the time, whether we realize it or not, and can come from all places, whether we expect it from those places or not. Sort of a spontaneous awakening symptom. The final thing it says is integration time. So, that's interesting, because I have an essay in mind that I haven't started yet, because it's come with the title first, although that's not even firm, but the idea is there, and usually it's not that the title comes first, it's usually the idea and the sort of meat of what I'm talking about. But I think between like all of the things that are happening that are surprising and feel really wrong in the United States and the world, and then the ways that people are meeting the problems in their countries, like the rebellions of a lot of the videos that I get from a particular source keep calling the country's rebellions mutinies, but I thought that was a nautical term, like a sailing talk term. But a lot of them are happening, and it's upheaval and instability. And one thing that very long Galactic Federation of Light video talked about was how Venezuela has a lot of sought after natural resources, from oil to rare earths. And then they talked about also a node as like a ley line node, and ancient information and packets of activations and downloads are all around those things. And so they have a certain power, and I don't know how accessible that is to the powers that be, who tend to use power as a weapon to use against their enemies or whatever. And I hope that they're not able to. I hope they're not able to. I hope people with ill will are not able to access those. So anyway, there's like the knowledge of all of the things that are going on and changing that are so turbulent in the world. And that's what's happening. It's change. And a lot of us have wanted change, but I'm not sure how much we take into consideration what the change is going to end up looking like. It's never easy, like, here, I'll hand you a deed to whatever you want in my land in exchange for whatever that you'll give me. And it's never that pleasant and easy, especially when it's done as a conquest like our country, the United States, is for some reason doing. We don't have our stuff together on like the top level of consciousness. You know, we got problems with health insurance in this country. We got problems with water and food access for people. We got problems with immigration that are getting rid of people that are not immigrants, and immigrants that are following all of the rules that only a couple of years ago were all they needed to do to be left alone in this country. And okay, you're like the police, I guess, whatever, the immigration police, but what you're doing is also destroying the foundations of what makes the country run. So good job, good foresight. Also, more lying to us, because what they're doing in Venezuela and here in the United States is not what they said that they would be doing, not what they still say they're doing. Like, they just tell you stuff that's not true, demonstrably not true. There's so many cameras on everything, and so many people witnessing stuff, and the United States government is like, nope, it's doing this other thing that we're saying that's completely, visibly untrue. But okay. That's why the things are pissing me off. We have no integrity. Okay, the book about the... Here's what the book says about the Blue Flame card. This is a card of awakening and energetic upgrades. Perhaps you're going through a period of spontaneous awakening, receiving visions and having experiences that are out of the ordinary. Perhaps, are you maybe? In the West, little is known about the process of spontaneous awakening, and it can feel very scary when we're going through it alone. Like when you're out on the run and all of a sudden you can smell colors and you don't know why. Why is it purple haze? Why is there a yellow submarine in the air? It can get weird. I don't know about like that, but you get my point. I hope. Okay, it can feel very scary when we're going through it alone. Elsewhere, they can be seen as auspicious experiences, with those going through them being treated with tender care. Sort of like shepherding a nervous acid tripper. Just an observation. The blue beings are thought to be activating beings with great potential for healing and upgrading our cellular structures. That's that carbon to cellular thing I was talking about. Look it up. They appear in moments of extreme awakening, activating a physical kundalini awakening and deep cellular and DNA healing. So once you awaken, like, things start to happen. I want to say, like, you reverse course, and sort of everything that has been dead and making you sort of unaware of things suddenly pops online and becomes alive, and it's like, whoa! So, okay, many people glamorize the awakening process. However, in reality, it's much messier and more difficult than most of us believe. We must first let go of what we think we know for sure, and how we must first let go of what we think we know for sure, and how we make sense of the world. This isn't easy. No kidding. We just want to stay so latched on, claws in to the reality that we think is the reality, and it's like, things don't have to be this way. Let me continue. The awakening process, even when it's spontaneous, in quotes, takes a considerable amount of time to integrate, and awakening without integration can leave us feeling very ungrounded. If you're in the midst of an awakening, the process never ends. That's what I feel. Treat this time as deeply sacred and give yourself ample space to ground and integrate the extreme changes you're going through. So I started to talk about an essay I have in mind. And specifically what I want to talk about, I just haven't formed it properly yet. I'll get there, but it was like one foot in one world where it's turbulent and crazy and stuff isn't making sense and everybody's lying to you and you can see it and you can say, look, you're lying. It's right here. You're lying. And they'll still just be all, nope, it's this other thing I'm saying and nothing you say is going to change my mind about it. Which makes you feel crazy. And then you know about the pre-birth blueprint and how everything that's happening is exactly what you signed up for. I mean, I think things have gotten more extreme than people were planning, but it is still along the lines of what you signed up for, like why you're here. And so there's one part of my mind that is aware of this, and then the other part is just in the reality, and it is hard to integrate those two ideas. And yet we kind of unconsciously are living that way all of the time, and it kind of stinks to be unconscious of it, because then you have little to no control over how it affects you. So that's a bummer. That's a bummer. It seems like the hardest way to learn all of that stuff is for it to start happening to you unawares. Like, I feel compassion for those people. That must be difficult. And so what I want to write about is like navigating through all of these sort of storms where on the real life side, like your right foot is standing in all of this mishigas and craziness and things being said and done that just feel wrong, but you don't ever know the entirety of a situation that you're not intimately involved with. So you are seeing all of these things and you have your understanding of the way things make sense, and then all this other stuff that's not making a lot of sense is happening. And then you got your other foot completely grounded in like, yeah, we knew this was all going to happen. Just calm down, enjoy the ride. It's a roller coaster. Just have your mindset there. It's okay. And to integrate the two of those worlds, those two dimensions, I'm going to say, is not the easiest thing. I have not gotten that wired. I haven't quite worked that out to where like, boop, I can just do it. I'm learning. I'm still learning. Okay, so if you're in the midst of an awakening, the process never ends. Parenthetically, treat this time as deeply sacred and give yourself some space to ground and integrate the extreme changes you're going through. Take some time to ground and integrate. Go to your inner space where it's calm and beautiful, or whatever you imagine that makes you feel happy and calm and good. And also, hug a tree or touch grass, as they say, and ground yourself and meditate. Do the opposite of what makes you crazy. That is what I just heard. Okay. Starseed activation. Place the card on the portal of your heart and whisper the following. I allow myself to surrender to the awakening process that's right for me. I take things slowly and integrate experience each and every day. Oh, if only it was that easy and regimented. But I guess you have that prayer, like the serenity prayer that the addicts are given, I guess, at AA and NA. Give me the power to control the things I can control and stop trying to control the ones I can't so I don't lose my sanity. I'm paraphrasing, but that's the gist. Okay, so the next card I have is the Cosmic Heart. I was dogging this poor figure before because she's got the little religious head veil. Oh, communion. That's when I had to wear that. It's a Catholic thing. Look it up. Holy Communion. So, let me find the cosmic card here in the book. There it is. Gave you a little Mizak. So, on the card it says, devotion, potency, make your life a moving prayer. Well, that's when you have the control to design what your life is going to be like going forward. But that design has to include your ability to not fragment when things get hard, and to also remember you can ask for the assistance of your star family, and that extends to ETs and the angelic realm, ascended masters, ancestors. They're all waiting just out of, like, beyond your level of sight for most of us. They and a lot of other people know that no longer walk the earth are still in spirit hanging around, all around us. If we call them, it doesn't necessarily mean they're just like hanging around spying on us. They don't care. They have other things to do. And also they have been there and done that. But if we call for assistance, they will be there, or they will know, because they have the ability to sense us very clearly. They'll know when we need assistance. So, let me read here. When you pardon, it's these fake teeth. They're moving around. When you surrender to a state of devotion, you find yourself flowing with all of life. When you're being called to refocus your attention deep within the intelligence of your own heart, to bow with deep reverence to your inner temple, to live your life in devotion to this place. To live your life in devotion to this place. So, you're here and now, the place where you are, here and now. That could change. Your here could be a different place, but it's always the same now. And we stray from that, and that's where we run into problems. If we focus too much on the past and what has happened, that's over, basically. I mean, it carries on as long as we drag it out and examine it over and over. Like, we do have control over that type of thing. Or the future, where we're just worried or afraid or excited, I think is the better way to go. Like, if you're going to dwell there, at least don't do it in fear. Fear just wrecks everything always. So, let me continue here. To live your life in devotion to this place, you're here and now. To make your life one big moving prayer. Your life is as good as you make it. That's your intent has everything to do with it. And it can feel like things happen to you just out of control happening to you, but remember, you signed up for this. And so I have written a piece, and it was on Substack, which I canceled, so I don't know if I have moved it somewhere else, but it talked about coping with the times, and it was called my controversial coping method. And I basically wrote that whenever things feel really scary and out of control, I can refer back to the fact that, okay, I signed up for this in the distant past, and this is already all scripted out. So, like, don't fear, like, what's happening. You already know on some level that it's going to happen. And whatever happens is how it's supposed to happen. And we can calm down and remember, this is of our own design. This is the prayer that we're giving to our life. Like, how we want it to be going forward, in spite of being in the midst of the craziness. And that's what we can all do. Like, the most we can do for each other effortlessly is to not lose our shit. Basically, to stay calm and anchored in reality, here and now, because that's the only thing that really counts, here and now. Can't go back to the past and do anything different. Not in like a TV sci-fi kind of way. Nor can you really jump ahead into the future. All you can do is learn from the past and prepare as best as you can for what you don't quite know is coming, but you kind of do. I know that's very frustrating, but that's something else that we have to integrate. You know, that's part of that, having a foot in the here and now and another foot in this other place that's hard to describe because I don't remember it, but it's supposed to be pretty nice. Okay. You're being called to refocus your attention deep within, to the intelligence of your own heart, to bow with deep reverence to your inner temple, to live your life in devotion to this place, to your inner temple. So be devoted to your here and now in your internal place, your inner space. So, like, you can ground yourself and anchor yourself so that not only is your reality more stable, but you have a tendency to stabilize those around you when things are really turbulent, and you're just kind of calm and taking it as it comes and not letting it wreck you. You can be rocked, but you don't have to be wrecked. Perhaps you felt a bit off kilter lately, sensing that the potency of why you're doing things has gotten a little watered down or weak. Perhaps you've forgotten what made you start doing them in the first place. If so, this is your call to take a moment and reconnect with the truth at the very center of your heart, to get back to the essence of what you're about, to devote your life to what you care most about. Turn your gaze deep, 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 deep. There are seasons for harvesting and seasons for sowing. Right now, you're being called to plant your soul seeds and sing them with deep devotion, to feed them with the sweet waters of your own soul, to lose yourself in the potency of what it is that most expands your heart, to live your life according to what makes you come alive, rather than what everyone else thinks, to make your life one big moving prayer. So there's a lot there, but basically what it says is keep your mind on your own stuff, and be open and be love, be in love, the state of loving, loving your situation, loving whatever comes, and whatever comes, no matter how it comes, it can be changed by the way you receive it. If you receive someone that's hostile and angry and they're expecting you to fight back, and what you do is not fight at all, that kind of breaks up their whole program, and while they're stunned, it gives you an opportunity to get in there and go, hey, let's, make the best of this. Let's be friendly. Let's help each other. Let's not fight. Whatever it is that's the opposite of the fighting, the antithesis of that hostility. Okay, so here's the last part. Soul seed inquiry. How can you make your life a moving prayer? consciousness, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Keeping it clean, keeping it open, rather than fighting the negativity and aggression, learning to sidestep or just dodge it, or even be with it for a moment and let it pass through you. Whatever you have to do, you don't have to take it on and become it, though. That is what you want to do, is witness it. So, okay, here's the final card, and it's karmic relationships. So, it's interesting. When I think of karmic relationships, it's all been sort of colored with twin flame stuff. And the karmic in that particular way of thinking of the karmic is that there is a relationship and it's soul family completing a circuit, living out karmas that they too and the karmic third have to sort of experience together, and that completes a circuit in a way. And so if we were talking about that, the two people that you can see on here, the two figures, would be the two lovers with the space in between them, and the space would be the karmic. Although the karmic could be one of these figures and one of the people in the relationship. But that doesn't make sense, because in that twin flame reality that they talk about, the karmic is an interloper that comes in and like messes everything up, breaks up the relationships, causes a bunch of problems, maybe by spreading untruths and warping reality in a way. And so that is not looked upon as like friendly or good or fun or whatever, but it is a necessary function. When they appear, they're put there for a reason, because of the blueprint that we made previous to being born. And so it is an experience that everyone wants to have, everyone involved. No matter what gets said in the here and now, we often forget that we have made these commitments. And so I think that makes it harder for the karmic's job to be accomplished. And it's hard to accept the idea like, oh, this person came in and landed in the middle of my really good thing and screwed it all up. But for some reason, those lessons are something that everyone decided that they want. And it doesn't seem like helpful or friendly, but it is. Unfortunately, that's kind of a commonality with these karmic lessons, is that they don't make sense that they're teaching you anything, but they are indeed. And karmics don't have to come in the form of a cheating, interloper. It could be in the professional setting where, whatever it is that you think is going to go a certain way, like you think you're about to retire and it's going to go all good and you're going to get that gold watch and the pension, which, big whoop, but, you did put in all the years of work to earn those prizes, and so it's still marking the end of an accomplishment, an achievement, so it's not nothing. Okay, let's see here. This is the last card. That I pulled. had the right one, right page number, and I didn't. That's irritating. Okay. Almost there. Here we go, karmic relationships. So here's what it says on the card. Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, conflict. So what I've learned from the Galactic Federation videos is that for a long time there were wars between the Orions and I don't know if they ever said, I guess the Palladians or the Arcturians, I'm not sure. But there were wars with them, and I guess those wars were like part of our past that can be represented sort of as what we can find in the Star Wars series. The inspiration for those, whether George Lucas was aware of it actively or not, came to him by way of those Orion wars in space and struggles between the rebellion and the God, why can't I get the Empire and all of the other political forces that were sort of fighting the Siths and the merchants and the Jedi and the government and the armies and the clones and all of the things, I guess, are representations of things that happened in our past in a galaxy long ago, in a galaxy far away. So, okay. It also says, okay, so it says on the card, Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, conflict. That's kind of like what I was trying to get out about the karmics before. So it's not necessarily a love relationship thing. Although those happen in war, in conflict. People from opposite sides become lovers. And I think those plant seeds of not rebellion, but growth, just like change. Something that's gonna sprout from the ground, the earth that I guess is fought over or fought upon, fought atop, and will signal a new beginning. Okay, let me read this thing. The constellation Orion is thought by many to have been a place of great polarity and eventual unity. Oh, so they were fighting themselves? Okay. Some believe that many starseeds who were a part of this cosmic history are incarnate on Earth now and are playing out karmic relationships from Orion times. Perhaps you're one of them. Perhaps, but I don't know who I'm warring with, fighting with. I don't know. I feel like a lot of those people are in the government right now. Polarity causes conflict and highlights separation. However, because of this, conflict can also result in unity and growth, the sprout that grows out of the contested land. Too many misunderstandings are caused when we don't open our heart and mind and see things from a different point of view. When we go into reactive second-guessing mode instead of gathering the courage to open our heart, so that's closing up and becoming aggravated and aggressive rather than accepting what's happening in the here and now, because that's what's happening in the here and now. And like, just be there and be a witness to it, or take part in it, I guess, if you want. But if you do so in the sort of militant sense, you're closing off a lot of opportunities for growth. You're shutting down your receptivity. Just saying. Okay, we should admit that we may have reached, when we go into reactive second-guessing mode, instead of gathering the courage to open our heart, we should admit that we may have reacted because of our own wounding, and then find mutual ground. Well, that all sounds very together and very emotionally intelligent. And I think we have a ways to go until the larger we of us get there. But, that's part of the ride, so I guess grab your popcorn and go with it. We're all innocent children looking to be seen, understood, and cherished. That's true. It's much harder to grow closer through conflict than it is to grow further apart. Truth. And yet, that's the invitation of conflict. It's easy to react and take things personally. Boy, is that is certainly true. It's more challenging to see the innocence of all involved and find a way to grow closer through the conflict. But that often is what happens, because conflict is fatiguing and losses of people and resources are taxing. And my gosh, we have been going through this for millions and millions of years. Are we tired of it yet? I can't remember a specific lifetime where I experienced a bunch of war. It has not been this one. I mean, I haven't had to go fight it personally. But I have no stomach for it. I have no... I'm going to just say it. I have no patience for it. And I guess I need to find some to be able to deal with it better, because it is happening regardless of what I want. Like, maybe not a full-scale war, but conflicts, blisters of conflicts popping up everywhere like an irritating rash. And it is irritating. I want to put a salve on that and calm it down and slap a bandage on it and forget about it. Like, let's heal and move on from this stuff. Okay, I'm going to finish what it says here. How can you soften your heart and drop your defenses enough to see things from a different point of view? How can you see the innocence of all involved? How can you learn to use the similarities rather than the differences? Well, those are the ways that's how we find our ways to peace. When we start looking at something other than what have we got against each other, and what can we do for each other, and how can we help each other, rather than fighting over the resources. How can we better distribute them for everyone? And that holds true in our here and now. Like, we have to learn how to equitably distribute resources, and anything else we all share. I don't know, for the sake of peace is a good reason for me. I don't think I want to hear about fighting anymore. It just hurts the soul. People don't want to lose any more of their loved ones. That hurts all of our souls, because on a level we all understand that the people that go to the conflicts and pay the ultimate price do it for everybody else. And whether you talk about it or not, you got to be aware of it. And I'm aware of it. I think about it, and I feel a lot of stuff about it. And I think we all do. My cat wants to bother me so bad. Okay, I'm going to finish up here. Starseed Soul Inquiry. Which relationships do you find the most challenging? How can you see things from a different perspective? How are you being called to allow growth through conflict? Well, that's a question we can all ask ourselves right now. How are we allowing ourselves to grow through conflict? Whether we agree with it or not, our country, Americans, now are on the hook for more shenanigans in the world, more reaching and grabbing for things that are not ours to take. we could ask. We could ask if they would like to share the resource. But no, for some reason, we don't do that. Like, we expect the children to do that, but then we grow up and we don't want to do it. What kind of example is that? A crappy one. I'll just answer the question. So we have to work on that. I would like to help the Venezuelans get to a place where they run their own country and they are the ones who decide what resources go to who and where, because it's theirs. Like, if they decide to come over here and start commandeering things, how do you think that would go over? So, I mean, that's an example right there. What are you doing? Can you, like, look in the mirror and have the same things done to you and react better than you're treating the people? 1 foot in one dimension, 1 foot in the other one. It's just like, I don't know. You can walk good with one leg and the other one gets stuck in all kinds of muck and problems and blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's it. That's all I had to say. It took me all day to get through the Orion day and most of the evening, but I did it. And so can you. Thank you and good night.